I first started using Dave Ramsey's principles when I was about 24 years old. I was single at the time, living off of one income, and up to that point, I had pretty much managed my finances based on a bank ledger, not a budget. I wasn't a frivolous spender. In fact, I was quite the opposite. I always looked for a good deal. I never bought anything I didn't really need. And I always kept, pretty decent track of my money and my finances, knew what I was spending. But the problem was I didn't have a job for every single dollar that came in. And before long, it was evident that my expenses were more than my income. I was spending more than I was making, and it was going to be a problem if I kept that track up, if I kept that trend up and didn't get a handle on it. Kind of how it all came together. I had a high rent payment for my house, especially considering my income. And being one income, there wasn't a lot of money left to go around after I paid my credit card payment and my car loan, which never doing that again. There wasn't a whole lot of extra left. And while I was smart in looking for good deals and not spending on stuff I didn't really need, I didn't keep a very accurate track of where my money was, where I was spending money. I remember sitting at the table one night and I had realized that my bank account balance was actually getting smaller rather than bigger, even though I was getting paid every 2 weeks. So I got my receipts together. I looked at all my grocery bills, my restaurant receipts, my fuel receipts, everything else that I was spending money on, electricity, rents, phone, all that different stuff. And I calculated everything up for the first time and realized that, in fact, I was spending more than I was making. Not by a lot, not by hundreds of dollars by any means, but enough to add up every single paycheck and enough to make a difference if I didn't get control of it. Well, about that same time, I needed to buy groceries. And I had already figured up that I had pretty much already spent the money that I had available for that given monthly period. And my next paycheck wasn't coming for about another week. But here I was. I needed groceries. I needed food. So I had to make a trip to the grocery store. And I remember vividly walking through the aisles of the store that night, feeling guilty that I had to buy food. Or feeling guilty, rather, that I didn't have the money to buy food. I almost felt like I was in a conflict of needing to buy money or needing to buy food or needing to have that for myself, but at the same time knowing that I really couldn't afford it. I didn't have the extra money to spend $50 on groceries that night. It was a wake-up call. It was scary. I'd never been in that position before. I had never been worried about money. And I had never been so concerned about the inner conflict of, I need this, I have to have this, but I really can't afford this right now. So I got home with my groceries, spent as little as I could get by with that night. And I looked up Dave Ramsey online. I'd heard about him. I kind of knew a general idea of what he did. That it was about, fighting debt, saving, getting ahead in your finances. So I found his program. I looked at his baby steps, and I got on a budget. The first 3 months were pretty interesting. I found out quickly that I was spending a lot more in certain areas than I thought I would, than I needed to and thought I was. In other areas, I had some flexibility. I could cut back in some other areas where I had extra money laying around. So after about 3 months, I finally got all the kinks worked out. Finally figured out how much I had, how much I could spend, make sure my necessities were covered, make sure my debts were getting paid off as fast as possible, and making sure I still had money for my rent, my electricity, my food, and my fuel. Boy, once that was done, you talk about a load off my back. I finally had control. I finally had a grasp on my finances. I actually went from not having enough money to cover every single month's expenses to actually saving money every single month. I got my debt paid off, I got my budget going, and I started saving for my emergency fund. I started actually having money left over at the end of the month because I was sticking to that budget so closely. And as a single guy, I had that flexibility and that option where I could really work hard on saving goals. So I got my emergency fund built up. I saved up for an engagement ring once I got a girlfriend, and life was looking a lot better. I had a plan, I had a vision, I had a hope for the future for myself. And it really changed the situation for me. So here I am now 6 years later. I'm married, I own a house, cars, I have a baby. My wife and I are saving for retirement, for land, and for other cars, and just living in general. We're saving for retirement, we're investing, we got a kids' college fund. We're on the path to financial freedom, and it's exciting. 6 years ago, I was scared and couldn't meet my expenses each month. Now, I have money left over, and I am moving forward to the future. I am confident, and I have a plan in place. And you can have one too. I am here to help you, to coach you and guide you through the process of attaining financial freedom for your family. Whether you're single or married, young or old, it doesn't matter. The application can be the same. Maybe you're starting a family, or maybe you're older and looking at retirement and investing. Maybe you're trying to pay off your house or buy a new car, or just get through the month without worrying about the paycheck and about the expenses. Just get through without any more stress. Well, I'm here to help. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Master Financial Coach, and I am here to guide you through the process of attaining financial freedom. I'm here to help. I'm looking forward to working with you. Hopefully my story will resonate with you. Hopefully we can get together and develop a relationship, and I can walk you through the baby steps from being broke and not having a plan to living prosperously. My name is Austin Black, and I'm here to help you attain freedom through your finances.